Hello friends. What if I told you that the week of September 21st through September 27th holds more secrets than a locked diary hidden under the bed of destiny? This is no ordinary forecast, it's a layered tapestry, weaving together the wisdom of Western astrology, the mystical signs of the Druids, the precision of Vedic tradition, the beauty of flower and stone horoscopes, and the quiet whisper of numbers through numerology. Imagine standing in front of a mirror where 5 different reflections of your soul overlap. What truth would you see? Let's dive deep, sign by sign, and uncover the magic waiting in these days. Aries, March 21st to April 19th. Western astrology paints you as the warrior, and this week, Mars, your ruling planet, pushes you to fight for clarity in relationships. But it's not only about conflict. It's about the raw, unfiltered drive that burns inside you, a fire that refuses to let you accept vague answers or half-hearted commitments. Mars sharpens your instincts like a blade fresh from the forge, and it demands that you cut through illusions. You may find yourself in conversations where the air is heavy, where silence feels louder than words. Instead of shying away, you'll feel pulled to ask the questions others avoid. What do you really want? Where do we stand? Why are we circling the same issues again and again? These confrontations may sting at first, but they also bring release, because the warrior in you doesn't fight for destruction, you fight for truth. Every disagreement this week is actually a doorway into understanding, a chance to move from chaos to clarity. And courage? You won't just discover it, you'll embody it, stepping forward when others hesitate, breaking the spell of uncertainty with your decisive action. By the end of the week, you may notice that what once felt like conflict has transformed into intimacy, because honesty, even if fiery, builds stronger bonds than silence ever could. Druid horoscope links you with the oak, a tree of strength. In the ancient Celtic tradition, the oak was more than a tree. It was a cathedral without walls, a living pillar connecting the earth to the heavens. This week, the oak becomes your symbol. Imagine yourself as that tree. Your roots pushing deeper into the soil of your convictions, while your branches stretch toward the limitless sky of possibility. Emotional storms may swirl around you, people projecting their doubts, fears, or frustrations onto your steady frame, but like the oak, you will not bend easily. You will not be uprooted. Your strength lies not just in resistance, but in your quiet wisdom, in your ability to shelter others without losing your own grounding. Picture conversations where someone confides in you, seeking your shade, your calm presence, because you radiate stability even when the wind howls. The Druid message is clear: be the oak this week. Stand tall, stand proud, know that the strength you carry is not only for yourself, but also for those who lean on you when their own storms rage. Vedic astrology points to a shift in your nakshatra influence, urging you to reconsider financial commitments. In Vedic tradition, nakshatras are the stars behind the stars, the secret codes of destiny. This week, one such shift stirs your financial landscape, asking you to look closely at promises made, contracts signed, or investments considered. Money, for you now, is not just about numbers, it's about energy exchange, about where you place your faith and trust. The cosmos is gently nudging you. Are you being wise, or are you being impulsive? Some of you may feel the urge to spend on things that sparkle but fade quickly. Others may feel the weight of debts or obligations suddenly surfacing. The key is discernment. Before making a commitment, pause. Review. Ask whether this aligns with your long-term vision. The stars suggest that patience will reward you, while haste could tangle you in knots that take months to undo. In the flower horoscope, you bloom as a tulip, bold yet sensitive. Tulips are vibrant, striking, unapologetically beautiful, but their petals are delicate, easily bruised if handled without care. This mirrors your energy this week. You'll shine in social settings, catching attention without even trying, but behind that boldness lies a heart that feels deeply, that can be wounded by careless words or thoughtless actions. The message of the tulip is both empowerment and caution. Celebrate your uniqueness, show your colors, but protect your petals. Surround yourself with people who see your beauty and honor it, not those who drain your vitality. If someone tries to clip your bloom or dull your shine, remember, you are not here to please everyone. You are here to grow toward the light, to stand tall in your own authenticity. Stone horoscope grants you ruby's fiery confidence. The ruby, with its deep crimson glow, is not just a jewel, it's the crystallized essence of courage and passion. This week, ruby energy surrounds you like armor and fuel all at once. If doubts creep in, if hesitation makes you falter, the ruby reminds you of your own heartbeat, strong and steady, daring you to leap forward. Keep something red near you, whether it's a stone, a garment, or even a flickering candle flame, and let it remind you of the fire that burns within. Rubies don't whisper, they roar. And this week, that roar is yours. Numerology whispers the number 3, symbolizing communication. But communication here is not just about talking, it's about expression, connection, and resonance. 3 is the number of storytellers, poets, and bridge builders. It asks you to speak honestly, but also to listen with equal depth. You may find that your words carry unusual weight this week, that a simple phrase you share becomes the spark for someone else's breakthrough. Likewise, messages may come to you in unexpected ways, through overheard conversations, through dreams, through music that seems to speak directly to your soul. The number 3 says, don't just use your voice, use your presence, your laughter, your ability to connect threads between people. You'll find that answers come not by pushing harder, but by allowing dialogue to unfold like a dance. And now, a little side note. If you'd like to support the channel, there's a thanks button right under this video, or through the donation alerts link in the description. Your support truly helps me keep creating. And of course, if you enjoy the content, please leave a like and subscribe so you won't miss what's coming next. Thank you so much for being here. Now, let's continue. Taurus, April 20th to May 20th. Western stars push you toward stability, yet Venus, your ruler, tempts you with indulgence. This week is a dance between craving the soft comforts of life, the warm meals, the cozy spaces, the moments of pure relaxation, and the undeniable pull to build, to plan, to secure your foundation. Venus wants you to revel, to savor, to lean into pleasures without apology. But Saturn whispers of responsibility, reminding you that long-term joy comes from balance, not excess. You may find yourself torn between splurging and saving, between staying in the moment and preparing for tomorrow. The challenge is not to choose one over the other, but to weave them together. Enjoy the beauty around you, indulge in small luxuries, but also remember the satisfaction that comes from knowing you're building something lasting. Druid horoscope ties you to the willow, flexible, intuitive. The willow bends gracefully without breaking, moving with the currents of water and wind. This week, you are called to embody that same fluidity. Dreams may bring you symbols, whispers from your subconscious that feel more like guidance than fantasy. Pay attention to those night visions, and also to the subtle signs in waking life. The chance meeting, the sudden gut feeling, the quiet knowing that doesn't require proof. The willow reminds you that strength is not always about standing rigid. Sometimes it's about bending so gracefully that you survive the storm untouched. Trust that your intuition is your greatest ally this week, even more than logic or reason. Vedic insight highlights career movements. Karmic seeds you planted months ago, efforts that seemed unnoticed, work that felt invisible, are now beginning to sprout. You may suddenly find opportunities landing in your lap, recognition being given, or doors opening that once felt locked. The Vedic message is simple: your actions were not in vain. This is the beginning of the harvest. But with growth comes responsibility. The stars remind you to nurture these sprouts carefully, to not rush the process, but to water them steadily, knowing that they will grow into something much larger than you imagined. Flower sign, rose. Your heart opens like a rose in full bloom, fragrant, magnetic, pulling others closer to you. But roses also have thorns, and this is where the lesson lies. Love and relationships may feel heightened, with emotions running tender and raw. You may feel more vulnerable than usual, willing to open your heart but aware of the risks. The rose teaches discernment, to give your love freely, but to protect your boundaries. Trust your instincts when it comes to people. Not everyone who admires your bloom has the patience to care for it. This week, nurture your heart, but guard against those who only want the petals without tending the roots. Stone sign, emerald. Known for its deep green serenity, emerald brings calm to stormy minds and healing to restless hearts. When stress rises, when the world feels overwhelming, emerald's gentle glow wraps you in reassurance. Carrying or wearing emerald energy this week will not only soothe you but also attract abundance. It's as if the universe notices your calm readiness and rewards you with more of what you need. Emerald asks you to slow down, to breathe, to remember that abundance grows naturally in fertile ground, it cannot be forced. Numerology Spotlight. 6. The number of harmony. Family matters come into focus now. Whether it's literal family, chosen family, or the circle of people who feel like home, 6 reminds you that love is your anchor. Healing conversations may finally happen, words left unsaid may finally find their voice. 6 is the number of responsibility too. It asks, how can you show up for others without losing yourself? This week, harmony doesn't mean avoiding conflict. It means creating balance, building bridges, and choosing connection over division. In doing so, you'll discover a deeper sense of peace than you imagined possible. Gemini, May 21st to June 20th. Western horoscope shows Mercury buzzing with ideas. Expect conversations, debates, even gossip. Your mind is lightning fast, almost too quick for the world to catch up with. This week, it feels as though every word you hear carries an echo of possibility. Every question you ask cracks open a door to an entirely new perspective. Mercury, your celestial ruler, is not only stirring your tongue but also electrifying your imagination. It's the spark behind late-night discussions that run far too long, the reason you'll pick up the phone just to share a half-formed thought, the impulse that pushes you to argue passionately about something as trivial as a favorite snack or as profound as the meaning of existence. The air around you feels alive with chatter, buzzing like a beehive, each voice carrying a note of intrigue. But there's a catch: this flood of conversation can sweep you away, leaving you exhausted if you don't pause to breathe. Your challenge this week is not just to talk but to listen, not only to create but also to edit, to distill the storm of words into a clear stream that others can drink from. If you succeed, your communication will not only connect you but inspire those around you. Druid tree, hazel, symbol of knowledge. The hazel tree is sacred to wisdom, to secrets whispered across generations, to truths carried in the stillness of groves. This week, that tree grows in your inner garden. Its branches hold the fruit of curiosity, and you will feel an almost insatiable hunger to learn, to explore, to uncover mysteries you once abandoned. Perhaps you'll dust off a book left unread on your shelf, or revisit a hobby you thought you'd left in the past. Maybe you'll feel drawn to learn something completely new, languages, philosophies, or simply a skill that sharpens your daily life. The hazel's gift is not just knowledge for its own sake but the kind of wisdom that transforms you, that shifts how you see yourself and the world. Be ready for sudden insights, flashes of understanding that come like lightning strikes, illuminating questions you didn't even know you were carrying. The hazel whispers, your mind is fertile ground. Plant seeds now, and they'll bear fruit in ways you can't yet imagine. Vedic forecast warns of scattered energy. Focus on one project or risk burning out. In the Vedic tradition, your restless air element is magnified this week, making you feel like you can be everywhere at once. Ideas tumble out of you, but they risk scattering like leaves in the wind if you don't gather them into one basket. You may feel tempted to juggle too many plans, social events, career goals, personal projects, and though your enthusiasm is admirable, your energy is finite. The cosmos cautions you. Multitasking might feel thrilling, but it can drain your vitality, leaving you depleted before you've truly accomplished anything. Instead, choose one focus, one mission, one fire to tend carefully. By pouring your brilliance into a single flame, you'll not only avoid burnout but also witness real progress. This week teaches you that brilliance shines brightest when concentrated, not when dispersed into sparks that fade too quickly. Flower counterpart, lavender, gentle, soothing. While your mind races like a storm, lavender steps in like a soft breeze, calming, healing, reminding you to pause. Picture its purple blossoms swaying in quiet fields, exhaling their fragrance into the air. This is the medicine you need now. Lavender's message is that slowing down is not weakness but wisdom. Allow yourself moments of stillness, cups of tea, restful naps, time in nature, or simply silence between the words. It's in those pauses that creativity has room to breathe, to stretch, to grow. Let lavender teach you that true inspiration doesn't always come from chasing ideas but from allowing them to find you in quiet spaces. Stone ally, agate, for grounding. Agate is the steady friend you carry when your mind feels like a hurricane. Its layered bands remind you that life is built layer by layer, not all at once. When you feel overwhelmed by tasks, by conversations, by the sheer speed of thought, holding agate is like holding a piece of the earth itself, solid, unshakable, dependable. Keep it near you this week, in your pocket, on your desk, by your bed. Let its energy anchor you, reminding you that you don't have to ride every wave of thought. You can let some pass while you stand strong on the shore. Numerology gift. 5, the number of change. 5 is restless, unpredictable, exciting. It's the number of adventure and transformation. This week, expect the unexpected. Sudden invitations, surprising news, shifts in plans. At first, these changes may feel like disruptions, but 5's energy assures you they are catalysts, shaking loose the stagnation and sparking movement. Embrace the surprises, lean into the twists, and see them not as obstacles but as the universe's way of keeping you alive, awake, and aware. In numerology, 5 is the thrill of the open road, the invitation to say yes when opportunity knocks. This week, let that number guide you. Don't resist the change, become it. Cancer, June 21st to July 22nd. Western influence places the moon in emotional tides. You may feel everything deeply this week. But vulnerability becomes your power. The moon, your eternal ruler, bathes you in waves of feelings so strong they can't be ignored. This is not a week to hide your emotions or to pretend you're untouched. Instead, it's a week to realize that your sensitivity is your greatest strength. You may cry more easily, feel other people's moods as though they are your own, or become deeply moved by music, art, or even small gestures of kindness. And though it may overwhelm you at moments, it also gives you a gift, empathy so profound that it binds you to others, creating connections that logic alone could never achieve. Vulnerability, often misunderstood as fragility, reveals itself as courage this week. To open your heart fully, to allow yourself to be seen in your softness, is the bravest act of all. Druid tree, birch, new beginnings. The birch tree is the pioneer of forests, the first to sprout after fires, the one that clears the way for life to return. This week, you are that birch. You may find yourself standing at the threshold of something new, a relationship shifting, a career path opening, or a personal chapter turning its first page. The birch tells you, do not fear the unknown, for it carries the promise of renewal. Shed old bark, old patterns, old ways of being that no longer serve you. Just as the birch grows quickly in clearings, you will grow swiftly when you let go of what weighs you down. Trust that the blank space ahead is not emptiness but potential, fertile ground for your next evolution. Vedic astrology highlights home matters. Some may renovate, others may face family decisions. In the Vedic view, your 4th house glows with significance, drawing your focus inward to the hearth. You may feel a sudden urge to rearrange your living space, to cleanse, to beautify, to make your home a sanctuary. Others may face important choices involving parents, children, or the broader family unit, conversations about care, about responsibility, about shared dreams. Home becomes the center of your energy this week, not only in the physical sense but in the spiritual. You are being asked, where do you feel safe? What truly makes a home for you? These reflections are not trivial, they're foundational. Flower symbol, white lily, purity and intuition. The lily rises pure and unblemished from the mud, reminding you that clarity and beauty can emerge from the murkiest waters. This week, the lily is your guide. Its whiteness symbolizes innocence, truth, and the quiet wisdom that comes not from force but from trust in inner knowing. Pay attention to that whisper inside you, the soft voice that never shouts but always speaks the truth. Trust it over the noise of external opinions. The lily assures you that even if you feel clouded by emotions, your intuition will cut through the fog, leading you where you need to go. Stone sign, moonstone, your natural ally, heightening intuition. Of all crystals, none is closer to your essence than moonstone. It mirrors the glow of your ruling planet, carrying the magic of cycles, dreams, and hidden truths. This week, moonstone acts as both a mirror and a lantern, reflecting your inner feelings while lighting the way forward. Keep it close, wear it, meditate with it, place it by your bed to enhance dreams. Its energy will not only soothe you but sharpen your intuitive gifts, allowing you to see beyond surface appearances into the deeper truths waiting beneath. Numerology number 2, representing partnership. 2 is the number of duality, balance, and connection. This week, you will find that progress comes not from solitude but from collaboration. Whether in work, love, or family, you are called to lean into partnership, to walk side by side rather than forging ahead alone. The energy of 2 teaches patience, compromise, and the beauty of shared responsibility. It asks you, how can you open yourself to cooperation without losing your individuality? This is not about dependence but about mutual support, about finding strength in unity. By embracing the power of partnership, you'll discover doors opening that you could never have unlocked on your own. Leo, July 23rd to August 22nd. Western chart shows the sun glowing in your favor. Your charisma attracts opportunities like bees to honey. This week the sun isn't merely shining, it's conducting the whole orchestra of your life, spotlighting your presence in rooms you didn't even realize you'd enter. People notice you whether you announce yourself or not. Your laugh, your posture, the little confident tilt of your head become signals that others read as leadership and warmth. Opportunities will arrive dressed in different clothes. A casual remark at a party that turns into an invitation, a client who chooses you because they felt the right energy, or a colleague who suddenly remembers your name when a chance is at stake. Your task now is to steward that attention with intention. Let your confidence be magnetic but not blinding. Use it to open doors for others as well as yourself. Practice the small courtesies of powerful people. Listen as much as you speak. Follow through on promises, and pick 1 or 2 causeways where you'll invest your energy rather than chasing every glittering thing. The sun will reward focus with momentum. The brighter you shine in service and authenticity, the more the week will bend toward lasting gains instead of fleeting flattery. Druid tree, holly, noble and protective. Use your strength not to dominate but to inspire. The holly speaks of regal endurance. Leaves that hold their gloss through winter and berries that lend life when other trees go quiet. This ancient symbol asks you to adopt a posture of protective generosity. You have the capacity to shelter others from their doubts without taking on their burdens as your own. When someone pushes back against change, offer the firm reassurance of the holly, clear boundaries wrapped in care. Leadership this week is less about issuing orders and more about setting the climate where talent can grow. It's about inviting participation while holding a safe container. Think of yourself as the noble house that welcomes guests and gives out lanterns rather than grabbing the map and steering every traveler. That quality will make your influence durable. People will follow you not because you demand it but because you demonstrate steadiness and values. If conflict arises, remember the holly's lesson. Defend what matters, but avoid overshadowing the voices you aim to lift. Vedic wisdom suggests focus on financial planning. Watch for unnecessary spending. In Vedic terms, this is a moment to cultivate long-range dharma around resources. The cosmic currents favor structure over impulse. Where you might otherwise treat money as a reward for brilliance, the wiser move is to treat it as a tool for future possibility. Review your accounts with a steady eye, ask probing questions of recurring charges, and honor the small budget items that compound into larger stability. This isn't about denying joy. Affluence can and should be enjoyed, but about aligning pleasures with purpose. Create a 3-tier plan: immediate needs, medium-term goals, and a reserve for the unexpected. Look for waste disguised as comfort, subscriptions you no longer use, dinners that become a habit rather than a treat, or purchases made to impress rather than satisfy. If an attractive investment or purchase appears, slow your internal drumbeat, get a second opinion, check the fine print, and visualize how it fits into the next 12 to 24 months. Financial prudence now will free you later to take the creative risks that really matter. Flower sign, sunflower. Like the sun, you shine brightest when turning outward to help others. The sunflower teaches radiant reciprocity. It turns to the light, and by doing so it gives warmth back. This week your brightness is a resource, let it be a beacon. Volunteer attention where it's needed, share credit generously, and use your warmth to cultivate networks that are reciprocal rather than transactional. Small acts of outreach, an encouraging message, a public compliment, a thoughtful introduction, will multiply your social capital faster than flaunting your achievements. Sunflowers also remind you to face the day with ritual, morning practices that set your tone, visible reminders of what matters, and clarity about who benefits from your energy. Beware the temptation to hoard praise. The more freely you shine, the more fertile your field becomes. In romance and friendship, choose to be the person who lifts others' stakes instead of overshadowing their progress. That humility will paradoxically make you even more magnetic. Stone sign, topaz, magnifying optimism. Topaz is a stone of clarity and warm resilience. It acts like a lens that focuses sunlight into usable power. Keep topaz near to reinforce your capacity to see possibilities rather than obstacles. Its energy supports speech that is both honest and buoyant, so when you negotiate or propose new projects, do so from a place of clear confidence rather than bravado. Use the stone as a ritual touchpoint. Hold it before decisions to steady your intention, place it on your desk when you need creative momentum, or simply wear it when you want optimism to feel anchored instead of airy. Topaz also helps you temper impatience. It teaches that optimism paired with a plan is what turns bright dreams into real outcomes. Let it remind you that sunny disposition without structure can fritter away, but sun plus scaffolding produces impressive erections, metaphorically speaking, of accomplishment. Numerology reveals 1, a week of leadership. You'll be called to step up, perhaps in unexpected ways. The number 1 is the archetype of initiative and origin. It invites single-point focus and the courage to start. This week may place you at the helm of a small team, ask you to introduce a bold idea, or require you to make a decision others will follow. Your choice won't always be glamorous. Sometimes leading means taking responsibility for the mundane logistics that make success possible, but those quiet acts of stewardship define real leaders. In numerology, 1 asks, what will you start that will matter 6 months from now? Take inventory of the projects in your orbit and choose one where your leadership will create momentum. Be mindful of the shadow side of 1, domineering or isolating tendencies. Check in with trusted confidants before making unilateral moves, and invite input when stakes are high. A leader who listens gains authority. A leader who listens and decides gains legacy. This week's 1 energy supports bold beginnings and steady follow-through. Use both. Virgo, August 23rd to September 22nd. Western stars highlight Mercury's practical precision. This week, details matter, contracts, schedules, even small promises. Mercury's influence sharpens your eye and gives your mind the steady scalpel it loves. You will find yourself naturally moving toward the small but consequential elements that often determine success. The exact phrasing of an email, the clarity of a deadline, the precise measurement that keeps a project on track. This is your advantage. Where others see busywork, you see the structural seams that make things hold. But be careful not to fall into perfectionism that stalls progress. Use Mercury's gift to set realistic standards and to polish what is essential rather than polishing until a thing is brittle. When reviewing contracts, ask clarifying questions and document agreements in writing. When committing to timelines, account for buffer. When promising favors, ensure you can deliver without sacrificing your core work. Your reputation this week is built on reliability. The people who notice are those who rely on you when minutes and details matter. Succeed here and you'll create momentum that larger, flashier initiatives will ride on later. Druid tree. Hazel again, but for Virgo it sparks analytical wisdom and healing power. The hazel returns to your story as a symbol of discernment and quiet medicine. It gives you a patient sort of intelligence, one that sees root causes rather than chasing symptoms. This week the hazel will guide you to diagnoses that matter. What in your routine is draining you, which relationship dynamics are repeating, which processes are due for simplification. There's also a healing aspect. As you identify problems, you'll find practical, methodical ways to mend them, little rituals, reorganizations, or recalibrations that restore balance. The hazel's wisdom is pragmatic and tender. It asks you to be rigorous in the service of care. Apply that approach to your work and your body alike. A systems-minded tweak at home or in the office may yield more relief than a grand overhaul, and the gentle healing you enact now will compound into sustained well-being. Vedic notes: a good time for health checkups and routines. Build rituals that nourish you. Vedic tradition prizes daily rhythm dinacharya and the cumulative power of small, consistent practices. Under this guidance, the week favors appointments you've been postponing, dental cleanings, physicals, eye exams, and the reintroduction of habits that fortify your baseline functioning. Sleep windows, hydration targets, movement breaks, and digestion-supportive meals. Think of health as infrastructure. You are repairing cracks now to prevent outages later. Adopt one anchor ritual, maybe a 5-minute morning breath practice, an evening wind down, or a weekly meal prep, that you can maintain without heroic willpower. These micro-commitments will stabilize your capacity to perform at a high level and protect you from the slippage that creeps in during busy seasons. If you have chronic issues, this is a great week to consult professionals or revisit treatment plans. If you're generally healthy, use the time to optimize rather than overhaul. Flower, morning glory, humble yet radiant. Bloom early, set intentions each morning. The morning glory opens with first light and reminds you that beginnings hold sacred power. Adopt a simple intention-setting ritual that primes your mind for the day. 3 things you aim to complete, 1 attitude you'll practice, a small act of kindness you'll offer. That morning clarity will shape how you allocate your meticulous energy so you don't fritter it away on reactive tasks. Morning glory's humility is a lesson too. Let your radiance be quiet, consistent, and visible in the work you deliver rather than in the applause you seek. Over time, these daily buds become a garden of achievements that others notice not because you trumpet them but because your output speaks. Stone, sapphire, symbol of wisdom and inner truth. Sapphire is the contemplative companion for the seeker who wants to align knowledge with ethics. Its deep blue steadies the mind and supports discernment, especially helpful when you're weighing conflicting pieces of information or deciding between paths that both look sensible. Use sapphire to anchor moments of decision. Hold it in meditation before a tough call. Carry it when you need a cool head, or place it near your workspace to maintain integrity under pressure. The stone's energy encourages you to favor truth over convenience. That might mean giving honest feedback, choosing a cleaner method over a quick hack, or aligning a project more closely with your standards even if it slows immediate delivery. The long-term returns of that fidelity to truth will far outweigh short-term gains. Numerology. 7, the seeker's number. Reflect, meditate, ask deep questions. The answers lie within. 7 invites retreat and inquiry rather than public action. This is a week to turn inward and interrogate assumptions. What are you seeking, really? What underlying narrative is steering your choices? Quiet practices, journaling, silent walks, focused reading, will yield disproportionately wise returns. You may discover that a persistent anxiety is not about workload but about meaning, that a recurring friction with someone is tied to an unmet boundary, or that a creative block masks a deeper question of purpose. Honor the 7 by lowering the volume of external inputs and increasing the time you spend in reflective work. The insights you cultivate now will serve as a compass for the months ahead, and will allow your practical Virgoan talents to execute with not only efficiency but direction. Libra, September 23rd to October 22nd. Western skies glow as Venus brings balance and beauty into your life. Love and creativity flourish. Venus is your cosmic patron, and this week she glides across your chart like a painter sweeping color onto a blank canvas. Every interaction becomes more graceful, every conversation softer at the edges, every gesture tinged with harmony. You'll notice beauty in places you once overlooked. A stranger's smile on the subway, the curve of a tree branch against the sky, the rhythm of rain on your window. That heightened perception of balance doesn't just please your senses, it fuels your creativity. You may find yourself writing, painting, cooking, or simply curating your environment in a way that feels almost effortless. Relationships take on a warm glow under this influence. Love, whether romantic or platonic, becomes easier to express and to receive. Conflicts that once felt jagged may suddenly smooth themselves out when you lead with tenderness instead of critique. Venus is teaching you that balance is not about keeping every scale perfectly even, but about knowing when to add, when to subtract, and when to simply appreciate what already exists. This is a week to let art, connection, and affection guide you, to revel in the soft power of beauty as a tool for healing and expansion. Druid tree, vine, flexible and connected to cycles. This week, moderation is key. The vine twines and twists, following whatever structure it finds, adapting without breaking, thriving by embracing cycles of growth and rest. In Celtic lore, the vine symbolizes not only adaptability but also the wisdom of timing, knowing when to grow outward, when to conserve, and when to shed. This week, you are asked to embody that rhythm. Perhaps you've been overextending in some area of life, giving too much, spending too much, or striving too hard. The vine counsels moderation, reminding you that sustainable growth requires balance. Notice the cycles in your own energy. Mornings may be for productivity, evenings for reflection. Some days call for socializing, others for solitude. By aligning with these natural cycles, you avoid burnout and ensure steady progress. Think of yourself as a vineyard, prune where necessary, water carefully, and remember that abundance comes not from constant striving but from respecting the natural ebb and flow of life. Vedic chart emphasizes relationship karma. Harmony requires compromise, but not self-sacrifice. In Vedic astrology, karmic ties often reveal themselves most clearly in partnerships. This week, certain patterns may resurface: repeated arguments, familiar frustrations, or recurring dynamics in love, friendship, or work. The cosmos asks you to recognize these not as annoyances but as lessons. What is the universe trying to teach you through this repetition? The key is to distinguish between healthy compromise and unhealthy erasure of self. Harmony, in its truest sense, is built on mutual respect and balance, not on one person shrinking while the other expands. If you find yourself always giving, always bending, always silencing your needs, Venus and your Vedic stars encourage you to pause. Recalibrate. Ask what balance really looks like for you. When you adjust from a place of self-respect, the relationship karma begins to shift, and the cycle can finally break, allowing a deeper and more authentic connection to blossom. Flower, daisy, innocence and joy. Let laughter heal tension. The daisy is simple yet radiant, a flower that symbolizes childlike wonder and the healing power of play. This week, the daisy calls you back to that state of lightness you sometimes forget when life becomes too serious. Laughter is your medicine now. In moments of stress or conflict, allow humor to diffuse tension, even if only for a breath. Seek out experiences that spark joy without agenda: playful conversations, funny movies, time outdoors. Innocence here doesn't mean naivety, it means approaching the world with open-hearted curiosity, free from cynicism. The daisy encourages you to let go of the need to control outcomes and instead to enjoy the process, trusting that joy itself can be transformative. Stone, opal, amplifying artistic energy. Opal shimmers with shifting colors, capturing entire rainbows within a single stone. It's a reminder of your multifaceted nature and of the beauty that arises when different elements blend. This week, opal enhances your creative instincts, making it easier to channel your feelings into artistic expression. If you're an artist, the stone sharpens your vision. If not, it still invites you to live artistically, to arrange your space with intention, to cook with creativity, to dress in ways that express your inner state. Opal also carries a mystical energy that strengthens your intuition, allowing you to notice subtle cues in relationships and to pick up on the unspoken. It's not a stone of loud power but of quiet amplification, reminding you that your creativity and empathy are your greatest tools this week. Numerology, 4. The builder. Solidify foundations in career or love. Avoid cutting corners. The number 4 is about structure, order, and the creation of something that lasts. It asks, what are you building right now, and how sturdy are the foundations? In work, this may mean organizing your systems, clarifying your goals, or laying down practical steps instead of rushing ahead. In relationships, it could mean having grounding conversations about the future, defining boundaries, or creating rituals that strengthen bonds. 4 warns against shortcuts. What you skip now will become cracks later. But it also offers the promise of lasting stability if you take the time to do it right. See this week as an invitation to pour concrete, to hammer nails, to secure beams, metaphorically speaking, so that whatever you're constructing, whether a career path or a love story, stands strong against time and challenge. Scorpio, October 23rd to November 21st. Western forecast reveals Pluto's intensity rising. Secrets may surface, but truth empowers. Pluto, your ruler, is the planet of transformation, and when its energy rises, nothing shallow remains untouched. This week, the intensity may feel palpable. You'll sense it in conversations that suddenly turn serious, in realizations that strike like thunder, in truths you didn't expect to face. Secrets may come out, whether they're yours, someone else's, or hidden dynamics finally bubbling to the surface. While the revelations might sting at first, they hold the power to liberate you. Knowledge is a double-edged sword, but in your hands, it becomes a tool for empowerment. This week is less about maintaining control and more about embracing vulnerability as a form of strength. When the truth emerges, meet it with courage. It may dismantle illusions, but it will also set you free to rebuild on a foundation of authenticity. Druid tree. Elder, link with transformation. Let go of old pain to embrace new beginnings. The elder tree has long been tied to endings and beginnings, to death and rebirth, to the cycle of shedding and renewal. This week, the elder whispers that it's time to release the burdens you've carried for too long, old grudges, past heartbreaks, lingering guilt. You can't plant new seeds in soil still tangled with last year's roots. The elder encourages you to create rituals of release. Write down what you're ready to let go of and burn it, clear out your physical space, or simply breathe consciously and imagine exhaling old pain. By releasing, you open space for transformation. The elder reminds you that what feels like an ending is always a beginning in disguise. Vedic stars warn of emotional turbulence. Ground yourself before big decisions. Vedic astrology shows your emotional waters stirring more than usual. Passion, intensity, desire, all rise like tides that threaten to spill over. You may feel compelled to make sudden, sweeping decisions in relationships, work, or personal matters. But the warning is clear: don't let emotions alone steer the ship. Anchor yourself first, through meditation, grounding exercises, time in nature, or quiet reflection, before you act. Once grounded, your emotional depth becomes an asset, allowing you to make choices that are both heartfelt and wise. Without grounding, that same depth risks pulling you into impulsive moves that you'll later regret. Flower. Chrysanthemum, symbol of mystery. Don't reveal everything. Keep your aura magnetic. The chrysanthemum blooms in many layers, its petals unfolding like secrets one by one. This week, it teaches you the power of subtlety. You don't need to share every thought, every plan, every feeling. In fact, holding a little back increases your allure and allows you to maintain control over your narrative. Mystery is not about deception, it's about pacing. Just as a story loses impact if you reveal the ending too soon, your life loses power if you spill everything at once. Let people discover you gradually, petal by petal, and they'll remain intrigued. Stone. Obsidian, a shield against negativity. Obsidian is born from fire, cooled into a glossy black shield that reflects darkness back to where it came from. This week, obsidian protects you from energies that are not yours: jealousy, anger, manipulation. Carry it with you when entering charged environments, keep it near when conversations feel heavy, or meditate with it when you need to release someone else's energy from your field. It doesn't just block negativity, it teaches you to recognize what is truly yours and what isn't. That clarity allows you to stay rooted in your own power, unshaken by the chaos around you. Numerology: 9, the number of completion. A cycle ends, making room for growth. 9 is the final single digit, the number of closure, culmination, and preparation for rebirth. This week, something in your life may be drawing to an end, perhaps a project, a phase of a relationship, or an internal pattern that no longer serves you. Endings can be bittersweet, but 9 reminds you that they are also necessary. Without closure, there is no space for the new. Take time to honor what's ending, to reflect on what you've learned, and to release it with gratitude. In doing so, you prepare fertile ground for the next cycle to begin. The universe is not leaving you empty-handed, it's clearing space so that growth can flourish. Sagittarius, November 22nd to December 21st. Western outlook shows Jupiter expanding your horizons, new studies, travels, or philosophical debates. Jupiter is your ruling planet, and this week it rises in your chart like a great cosmic teacher with a chalkboard full of possibilities. You may find yourself craving expansion in every sense: new classes, new books, new places, new people. The call to adventure might show up in the form of a sudden invitation, a chance to enroll in a workshop, or an opportunity to join a conversation that stretches your worldview. Travel energy is strong too, not necessarily requiring a passport. Sometimes the most transformative journey happens within your own city, when you take a different route or wander into an unfamiliar neighborhood. The philosophical current also runs high. You may be pulled into debates about ethics, politics, spirituality, or art, and your natural enthusiasm makes you a magnetic conversationalist. Jupiter's gift here is not only in the experiences but in the confidence that you can handle what lies beyond your usual comfort zone. This week, say yes more often, knowing that even detours hold meaning. Druid tree. Elder, granting wisdom and renewal. Trust your adventurous spirit. In Celtic lore, the elder tree is connected with the cycles of life, endings that turn seamlessly into beginnings, and the wisdom gained from experience. For Sagittarius, this tree speaks directly to your restless, questing nature. The elder reminds you that adventure is not recklessness, it's renewal. Each time you step into the unknown, you are shedding an old layer and allowing something fresh to grow. This week, you're asked to trust that instinct to move, to explore, to leap forward, even when others caution hesitation. Wisdom is not about playing safe but about learning to recognize which risks enrich your spirit and which simply drain you. Let the elder guide you into adventures that feel like growth rather than escape. You don't need every answer now, just the faith that your inner compass is leading you to the next chapter of your personal myth. Vedic wisdom suggests growth in spiritual pursuits. Meditation or mantras bring breakthroughs. In Vedic astrology, Jupiter's expansive nature often manifests through Dharma, the path of spiritual truth and higher learning. This week, the stars favor practices that bring you inward even as your outer life expands. Meditation, chanting mantras, or studying sacred texts will provide insights that feel like puzzle pieces finally snapping into place. You might find yourself suddenly understanding a teaching you've heard before but never fully grasped, or experiencing a quiet aha moment during stillness. The Vedic guidance here is to balance your adventurous extroversion with moments of deep inner exploration. Growth isn't just about boarding planes or opening new books, it's also about sitting in silence long enough to hear your own wisdom rise. Even 5 minutes a day of mindful practice could shift the entire week's trajectory. Flower, carnation, symbol of passion. Channel enthusiasm into projects. The carnation is fiery, vibrant, and enduring, just like your Sagittarian energy when directed well. This flower doesn't whisper, it bursts forth in color, commanding attention and symbolizing deep love and spirited passion. This week, the carnation urges you to bring that same fire into your work and projects. Half-hearted effort won't cut it now. Your ideas are ready to be expressed boldly, with enthusiasm and flair. Whether you're pitching a proposal, working on a creative endeavor, or deepening a relationship, infuse it with passion. Carnations also remind you of loyalty, channeling your enthusiasm not just into new adventures but into sustaining commitments you've already made. That balance of excitement and dependability creates results that last longer than a single burst of inspiration. Stone, turquoise, your lucky talisman for protection and creativity. Turquoise has been carried across cultures as a protective charm and a stone of creative expression. For Sagittarius, its bright blue-green glow resonates with your truth-seeking and freedom-loving soul. This week, turquoise helps protect you from overextending yourself. Its grounding qualities serve as a shield against burnout or taking on too many risks at once. At the same time, turquoise amplifies your creative flow, making it easier to express ideas through writing, speaking, or artistic mediums. Keep it near you when brainstorming, traveling, or engaging in conversations where clarity matters. Think of it as both armor and amplifier, guarding your adventurous heart while ensuring your voice rings true. Numerology 3. Echoing communication. Share your ideas widely, people are ready to listen. The number 3 is vibrant, playful, expressive. It thrives on communication and creativity. This week, 3 invites you to use your voice. That might mean public speaking, writing, recording, teaching, or simply engaging more fully in conversations. Your ideas are not just passing thoughts, they are sparks that can ignite enthusiasm in others. People are primed to hear what you have to say now, so don't hold back. Share your stories, your philosophies, even your jokes. Laughter is part of communication too. 3 also warns against scattering your energy into too many directions at once. The key is to communicate clearly and purposefully, making sure your words are aligned with your vision. Done well, your ideas can ripple outward in ways that surprise you, creating connections and opportunities you hadn't expected. Capricorn, December 22nd to January 19th. Western skies highlight Saturn's influence, pushing discipline and responsibility. Hard work pays off this week. Saturn, your ruler, often gets a bad reputation as the strict taskmaster, but its true gift is mastery, the kind of excellence that only comes from discipline. This week, Saturn places you squarely in the role of builder and strategist. Responsibilities may feel heavier than usual, but this is not punishment. It's an invitation to prove to yourself what you're capable of when you focus. Projects that require persistence, careful planning, or sheer endurance will benefit from your energy now. Success will not arrive through shortcuts but through showing up consistently, step after step. Others may admire your dedication, but the real reward will be internal, the quiet pride of knowing you held steady under pressure. Saturn is telling you, plant now and you'll harvest later. Druid tree, fir, resilient and determined. Stand tall despite challenges. The fir tree thrives in harsh conditions, growing tall and strong even in rocky soil or icy climates. It symbolizes endurance, constancy, and determination. For you, the fir's message this week is simple. No matter what tests arise, stand tall. Challenges may appear in the form of delays, obstacles, or people who doubt your ability. But like the fir, you're built for resilience. Root yourself deeply in your values and long-term goals, and you'll find that external storms cannot shake your core. The fir also symbolizes vision. It points ever upward, reminding you to keep your eyes on the higher purpose behind your efforts. Let this image guide you. Strong roots, tall trunk, steady climb. Vedic reading notes career breakthroughs, but patience is key. In Vedic astrology, Saturn's influence over your chart points to karmic rewards earned through perseverance. This week holds potential for career growth, but the breakthrough may not happen instantly. It's like a seed that has just sprouted. You see the first green shoots, but the full plant will take time to mature. Be patient with processes, colleagues, and yourself. Push too hard, and you risk exhausting the soil. Move steadily, and you'll see lasting results. This is an excellent time to set intentions for your professional path, map out long-term goals, refine strategies, and align your daily work with the larger picture. Recognition will come, but it's the patience and persistence now that ensure it lasts. Flower, violet, quiet strength and loyalty. Small actions now build long-term trust. The violet may be small and delicate in appearance, but it carries a deep symbolism of strength, humility, and devotion. This week, the violet reminds you that influence isn't always about grand gestures, it's about steady, loyal presence. Pay attention to the small promises you've made, to colleagues, family, friends, and follow through. These quiet acts of reliability will earn trust that no bold speech could secure. In relationships, the violet also points to loyalty. Showing up consistently, even in subtle ways, strengthens bonds more than dramatic declarations. Think of the violet as your guide, humble on the surface, powerful in effect. Stone, garnet, energizing ambition. Garnet glows with a deep, fiery red, embodying determination and drive. This stone amplifies ambition, making it easier for you to stay motivated even when tasks feel heavy. Carry garnet with you this week as a reminder of your inner fire, your ability to work hard without losing sight of your ultimate goals. Garnet also enhances vitality, helping you combat fatigue that might arise from Saturn's demanding energy. It's not just about working harder, it's about working with purpose, knowing that every effort brings you closer to the summit you're climbing. Numerology: 8, the number of power and success. Financial matters take the spotlight. Smart planning will pay dividends. 8 is the number of material mastery and abundance, but it comes with responsibility. This week, financial decisions carry extra weight. Budgeting, investing, negotiating, or restructuring your money habits will pay off in concrete ways. Avoid impulsive spending. 8 asks you to think like a strategist, not a gambler. If opportunities for advancement or profit appear, evaluate them carefully. The number 8 rewards well-considered risks, not reckless ones. Beyond money, 8 is also about personal power, how you wield influence in your career and relationships. Lead with integrity, and the success you build now will not only enrich your bank account but also strengthen your reputation. Aquarius, January 20th to February 18th. Western alignment shows Uranus stirring innovation. Unexpected ideas spark change. Uranus, your ruling planet, thrives on disruption, on tossing the chessboard into the air just when everyone thinks the game is predictable. This week, its influence ignites a restless brilliance in you, sparking ideas that arrive like lightning bolts, sudden, dazzling, impossible to ignore. You may find yourself questioning systems, routines, even relationships that once felt solid. The urge to reinvent will be strong. It could mean brainstorming a radical solution at work, suddenly deciding to rearrange your entire home environment, or waking up with a new passion project that demands your attention. These surprises may initially feel chaotic, but chaos is Uranus's favorite playground. It shakes loose what has become stale so that genuine growth can occur. This week, welcome the disruptions not as inconveniences but as invitations to innovation. A single unexpected idea may change the trajectory of your next month, or even your year, if you're brave enough to follow it. Druid tree, Rowan, protection and vision. Trust your unique path, even if others don't understand. The Rowan tree has long been considered magical in Celtic lore, revered as a guardian against negativity and a beacon of second sight. For Aquarius, its presence this week is a powerful affirmation. Your path does not have to look like anyone else's. You may feel pressure to conform, to explain yourself, to justify choices that others view as unconventional. But the Rowan urges you to stand firm. Your vision, though unusual, is protective not only for you but for those you'll inspire down the line. When doubts creep in, whether voiced by others or whispered within your own mind, remember that true innovators have always walked misunderstood roads. The Rowan shields you as you take steps that feel ahead of your time, reminding you that clarity is often lonely at first. Yet by trusting your vision, you create ripples of possibility others will eventually see. Vedic astrology highlights friendships and networks. Collaborations may bloom. In Vedic interpretation, your karmic focus this week turns outward, toward community, alliances, and the power of collective effort. You may be invited into a new circle, discover a group that shares your passions, or find unexpected allies in existing friendships. The emphasis here is not solitary genius but collaborative brilliance. Your innovative ideas gain strength when shared, refined, and built upon by others. Watch for synchronicities in networking. Casual conversations may lead to partnerships, and even fleeting connections might hold the seeds of long-term cooperation. In this energy, generosity matters. Offer support without expectation, share knowledge freely, and celebrate the success of your peers. The karmic reward will return to you, magnified, in the form of opportunities that feel both expansive and aligned. Flower, orchid, rare, elegant, mysterious. Your individuality attracts admirers. Orchids have always symbolized exotic beauty, refinement, and a touch of enigma. Unlike common blossoms, they flourish in unusual conditions, requiring care and patience yet rewarding their keepers with extraordinary blooms. For you, Aquarius, the orchid reflects your individuality this week, striking, mysterious, and deeply compelling to those around you. People will be drawn to your uniqueness, your refusal to fit neatly into categories. Instead of toning yourself down, lean into it. Let your eccentricities be visible. Let your quirks stand as proof of your authenticity. The orchid also suggests patience. Your brilliance is not for instant gratification but for lasting admiration. Like an orchid that takes time to bloom, your ideas may require nurturing before they astonish the world. Trust the process, and trust that your mystery is part of your magic. Stone, amethyst, guiding intuition and higher thought. Amethyst is a stone of clarity, spirituality, and elevated consciousness. For Aquarius this week, it becomes both compass and amplifier, helping you distinguish between fleeting distractions and genuine insights. Carrying amethyst, meditating with it, or simply keeping it in your environment sharpens intuition while cooling the nervous energy Uranus often stirs. It steadies your mind so your bursts of inspiration can crystallize into coherent strategies instead of scattering in 10 directions. Amethyst also opens pathways to higher thought. It's not only about clever ideas but about wisdom, about aligning innovation with a purpose greater than yourself. Let it remind you that true genius is not just originality but originality in service of something meaningful. Numerology. 11, a master number, amplifying spiritual insight. Trust synchronicities. 11 is one of the master numbers in numerology, carrying a vibration of heightened intuition, visionary capacity, and spiritual awakening. This week, you may notice repeating numbers, chance encounters, or dreams that feel charged with meaning. These synchronicities are not coincidences, they're messages pointing you toward alignment. The energy of 11 magnifies your ability to sense connections that others overlook. Trust those impressions, even when they don't seem logical at first. They will lead you toward people, opportunities, or ideas that are essential to your growth. 11 is also a reminder to hold your vision high. You are being called to lead not just with intellect but with insight, blending reason with spiritual sensitivity. Follow the signs, they are guiding you toward a future only you can build. Pisces, February 19th to March 20th. Western stars illuminate Neptune's dreamy influence. Inspiration flows, but so does confusion. Clarify facts before acting. Neptune, your ruler, surrounds you this week with mist, beautiful, shimmering, but also disorienting. On one hand, it heightens your imagination, floods you with inspiration, and makes it easy to slip into creative or spiritual flow. On the other, it blurs lines, obscures details, and tempts you into wishful thinking. This duality means you may experience breathtaking visions alongside moments of uncertainty. The lesson here is discernment. Enjoy the inspiration, but ground it before acting. If a new opportunity or relationship arises, pause to verify details. Ask clear questions, check facts, and ensure your dreams have roots before you leap. Done well, Neptune's magic will fill your week with creativity and intuition without pulling you into illusion. Druid tree, willow, guiding you through emotions. The willow bends but does not break, swaying gracefully with the wind yet remaining deeply rooted. For Pisces, the willow reflects your emotional sensitivity and adaptability. This week, you may feel emotions more intensely than usual, not just your own, but those of people around you. Instead of resisting, let the willow guide you. Allow the feelings to move through, bend with them rather than snapping under pressure. Journaling, music, or quiet time by water can help you process without being overwhelmed. The willow also symbolizes intuition. Trust the inner whispers that rise when you are still, even if they defy logic. In the realm of emotion, your greatest strength is not control but flow, embracing the tides and letting them carry you to wisdom. Vedic wisdom points toward career opportunities rooted in creativity. In Vedic astrology, Neptune's influence aligns with your karmic dharma through imagination, artistry, and compassion. This week, opportunities may emerge in areas where creativity and service intersect. Perhaps a project that allows you to express yourself artistically while helping others, or a role that values empathy alongside skill. Pay attention to openings that feel aligned with both your heart and your talents. The Vedic message is clear. Your career growth right now is linked to honoring your imaginative gifts. Don't dismiss them as impractical. When you root your creativity in discipline and intention, it becomes a powerful force for professional advancement and karmic fulfillment alike. Flower, water lily, floating between worlds. Trust your imagination, but anchor in reality. The water lily thrives in two realms at once, its roots anchored in mud while its blossoms rest serenely on the surface of water. This duality mirrors your Piscean nature, living both in the physical and the mystical. This week, the water lily reminds you that your imagination is a gift, but it needs grounding. Dream boldly, sketch wildly, envision freely, but also tie those visions back to tangible steps. Write down your ideas, create timelines, or share them with someone who can help anchor them. When you balance the dream and the deed, the result is breathtaking beauty that doesn't just float, it thrives. Stone, aquamarine, calming the seas of your heart. Aquamarine glimmers like ocean water, soothing turbulent emotions and bringing clarity to murky depths. For Pisces, this stone is a balm, helping you navigate the waves Neptune stirs. Keep aquamarine close when emotions threaten to overwhelm or when confusion blurs your decisions. It calms anxiety, clears your throat chakra for honest expression, and helps you communicate feelings without drowning in them. More than protection, it offers perspective, reminding you that the storm always passes, and that the sea of your heart holds deep wisdom once the waves settle. Numerology, 22, another master number, the builder of dreams. Ideas can become tangible if you stay focused. 22 is often called the master builder, carrying the rare vibration of turning vision into reality. For Pisces, this is a profound gift. Your imagination is limitless, and under 22's guidance, it doesn't have to stay ethereal. This week, you have the ability to take those luminous, Neptunian visions and begin constructing something solid. The danger is distraction. 22 demands focus, planning, and persistence. Write down your ideas, prioritize them, and choose one or two to act on. Don't let your creativity scatter like mist. When you combine your visionary nature with the discipline 22 requires, you can lay the foundation for projects, careers, or relationships that not only inspire but endure. This week, your dreams don't just have to float, they can stand. Closing reflection. The week of September 21 to 27 is a cosmic orchestra, and each sign plays its unique instrument. Western stars give rhythm, Druid trees provide roots, Vedic wisdom shows karmic notes, flowers color the melody, stones stabilize the harmony, and numerology adds the hidden mathematics of fate. Together, they remind us that destiny isn't just written in the stars, it's carved in trees, whispered in numbers, blossomed in flowers, and crystallized in stones. When you pause to listen, you realize the universe is never silent. It hums with vibrations that echo across constellations, forests, rivers, and even the inner chambers of your own heart. The orchestra doesn't perform for some distant audience, it plays through you, inviting you to notice the subtle rhythms guiding your choices and the harmonies waiting in your relationships, ambitions, and quiet reflections. Western astrology beats the drum, showing the tempo of external forces, while the Druids root you in nature's wisdom, reminding you that even the strongest symphony begins with the whisper of leaves and the solidity of earth beneath your feet. Vedic insight adds the karmic undertones, the baseline of your soul's journey across lifetimes, shaping this week's lessons with threads that go deeper than the calendar suggests. Flowers offer the melody, reminding you that beauty is not frivolous, it is the very texture of life, the part that lingers in memory long after the final note fades. Stones, solid and timeless, are the resonant chords, the grounding vibrations that keep you steady when crescendos swell too high or silences feel too empty. And numerology? It's the hidden mathematics, the invisible score that explains why some weeks feel like beginnings, others like endings, and still others like the delicate pauses between movements. To call this week an orchestra is more than metaphor. It is recognition that life is both planned and improvised, both structured and fluid. Each sign contributes a timbre, a unique resonance. Aries strikes with brass-like boldness. Taurus provides the cello's grounding hum. Gemini adds quicksilver flutes. Cancer swells like violins tuned to emotion. Leo commands the spotlight like a trumpet fanfare. Virgo weaves intricate clarinet patterns of precision. Libra layers harmonies of balance like a harp, and Scorpio brings the deep timpani, pounding with transformative intensity. Sagittarius enters with woodwinds that lift the melody skyward. Capricorn keeps time with the discipline of percussion. Aquarius experiments like a synthesizer bending sound into the future. And Pisces floats through the arrangement like an ethereal chorus, half dream, half prayer. None could play alone and capture the grandeur of the whole. Only together do they create the full score of September's final days. This reflection is also a reminder of responsibility. When the stars offer rhythm, you choose how to dance. When trees offer strength, you decide where to plant. When Vedic lessons appear, you either resist or grow. When flowers bloom, you either admire or neglect them. When stones vibrate, you either listen or ignore their grounding pull. When numbers appear, you either dismiss them as chance or honor them as signs. The orchestra is always playing, but your role is not passive. You are both instrument and listener, performer and composer. By aligning with the rhythms available, you don't erase free will. You enhance it, turning random noise into melody. The week ahead may test, delight, challenge, or soothe, depending on how each sign tunes its strings. But the deeper truth is universal. Destiny is not a fixed song pre-recorded in the heavens. It is a live performance unfolding in every heartbeat, every choice, every silence you keep and every word you release. Trees carve your resilience, numbers whisper timing, flowers remind you to find joy, stones offer strength, and stars keep the tempo. Together, they form not just a horoscope but a hymn to being alive in this precise moment of time. And as the orchestra swells into the week of September 21 to 27, remember, you are not just listening to the music of the cosmos, you are playing it.